And then Ron, how you doing, Ron?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. We haven't started the meeting yet. Oh, yes, we did, I guess. But again, we have a couple other things to discuss, and we'll let you
Okay.
know when we're on here. So it is 6 o'clock. Patrick, you gonna be secretary tonight?
Yes.
Okay. And so we're convening the meeting. The recording has started. And Rick, do you need me to share the screen, or do you already have that?
Yeah, if you could make me a co-host, the R Metcalf one.
Okay, hold on one second.
And Rick, are there any ads to the agenda?
There is one new construction. It's Blueberry Road, lots 385 and 386.
Blueberry. Would you give that again?
Yeah, it's Blueberry. This is under septic permits. It's Blueberry Road, lots 385 and 386, and it's new construction.
Okay.
Rick, I'm trying to bring you in, but it's I'm down at share screen. Not share screen. Should be share video, right? Share stop recording. Okay, I don't see. I see 10 participants. I should be able to go to you, right?
I think, yeah, if you click on participants, there should be a box that comes up on the right side of the screen. And I believe if you click on my name, you can turn me into a co-host.
Okay, hold on one second. Yeah, you're not coming up for some reason. I am clicking that on, but it's I'm not getting people. I'm not getting your name. I'm not getting anybody's name. I'm clicking on that. I got it. And okay, Rick Metcalf. So I'm going to make you a co-host. Okay. Yep. All right.
The other one, Glenn.
Okay. So.
All right.
Should be co-host now.
Yep. All set.
All right. So we're starting at 6. Approve the agenda. And again, anything added? It sounds like you added one thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Blueberry Road lots 385 and 386, which is a new construction septic permit.
Pat, obviously you got that, right?
Got it.
Okay, approve the minutes from March 2nd, 2021. Those went out in the mail. Are you okay with those, Patrick?
Yes.
And Tom, are you okay with those?
He did them.
Okay, so there's no issues there. We have a hearing at 6:05 at 6:04, so we've got one more minute for 48 Lakeshore Drive. And looks like you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 permits, septic permits that don't need a hearing, Rick?
Yeah, and the 6th one that we added.
Okay, sorry, yep. And then a typical discussion of COVID, and then there's a couple of appointments down below. I don't see any additional correspondence.
Nope.
Okay. It's only one more minute. I don't want to start something, right?
No, yeah, if we could just wait till 6:05, we'll open that hearing then.
With that. And, Rick, I did receive your email. I ended up on a bylaw committee for the last month and a half, 2 months, and that's when I contacted you about updating, the rules and regs, or at least reviewing ours. And we may be hiring a consultant to look at everything. So I understand, again, ours are a little different, but I want to wait. The proposal came in today. We're going to discuss it Thursday night. And based on that discussion, I would then talk to you probably the next month. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Patrick, you don't have to write any of that down. I just wanted to let Rick know. He put something together for me. I just, I have reviewed it now. It'll be another month before I know anything. So it is 6:05. It is 48 Lakeshore Drive. Is anybody here for 48 Lakeshore Drive? Could you identify yourselves?
Right here, Steve Gasper. I'm the property owner.
Okay. I got Patrick
Is
Durkee, take it down.
Is
your
that
name.
a Gasper, Gasper?
AR.
EAR?
Yeah.
Owner, okay.
And you said property owner, right, Steve?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then Ron, are you here for this, for the 6?
No, I'm on for 26 Hilltop Drive.
Okay, again, anybody else here? Trevor, Valerie?
Yeah, Valerie should be here.
This is Jamie Scotland. We're the owners of 47 Lakeshore.
Okay, all right. Did you get that name, Patrick?
No, I did not.
Sir, could you repeat your name so Patrick, the secretary, can write down who's attended?
Sure, it's Jamie Scotland.
Scotland?
Scotland, yeah.
Okay. Very good.
And is Valerie the engineer on this?
She is,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Okay. Valerie, I see your name up there. Are you on? I don't see video. I think she's muted. Valerie, it looks like you're muted. Ashburnham, so. We're gonna need her, right, Rick? She's the
I
engineer.
can, I'll share a screen right now so I can bring the plan up and I can at least go over the variances that they're asking for.
Okay. That's unmute. So I've asked her to unmute, but I haven't seen it. Go ahead, Rick.
All right. Just gonna zoom in here. All right. So up on the screen, you've got the existing house and garage. There is an existing well that's on the property in the front left corner. My cursor is going over it now. So that is planned to be decommissioned and they'll tie into town water. The system is up in this front yard area in order to meet the 100-foot limit off of the wetlands. And there is another existing well across the street. This is that property that Jamie Scotland owns. And he had written a letter in preparation for the hearing where he stated that he also has plans to decommission that well and connect to town water.
Okay,
So there are 5 variances that they're asking for. The first one is to reduce the groundwater offset from 4 feet to 3 feet. As you can see, it's a pretty limited amount of area. So that 1 foot reduction helps out with the grading and keeping it within the confines of the property.
all right. Could you state the letter for Patrick? You got a date of the letter?
Yeah, so there's a letter, it's dated March 13th, 2021.
And that is from Valerie Northland?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Very good.
thank you. Keep going.
She's got an offset to property line for fill. There is no variance needed for that, so we'll forget that one.
Okay.
Offset to from property line to leach field, their regulations require 10 feet. The requested offset is 9 feet. They're
Okay.
requesting a reduction in the offset from the foundation from 20 feet to 15 feet, and that's off of this corner to this corner of the leach field. And they're
Okay.
looking for a reduction from the abutters well, that's this one across the street, from 100 feet to 54 feet. This house is not currently occupied. Jamie could probably answer the question better than me, but I don't believe the plans are to occupy it until it's been connected to town water.
That is correct.
Okay, so that's not, also, the well is going to be destroyed anyway. So do we, just because it exists today, Rick, we have to address that as a variance?
Exactly, yeah.
All right, but again, it sounds like it's going to be destroyed and, you know, they're going to connect to town water, so it shouldn't be an issue, but again, we have to vote. Okay, and is that it?
Yep.
So it's not 5, it's 4, because you said with the property number 2, that's not really a variance. right?
Yeah, there is a requirement in Title V that says when you have fill within 5 feet of a property line, you need to provide a swale, but she did, so she meets that requirement.
Okay, do you have any issues? That's a tight fit?
There's nowhere to go, and my only concern was the well across the street. But since we have an answer on that, and what's going to happen with that, I don't have any issues with what they're proposing.
Okay, Steve, I would go right to you as a butter. Is that? Do you have any questions?
Steve's the homeowner.
I'm the owner.
Oh, sorry. Who's the butter?
That's me, Jamie Scotland.
Okay, James.
Yeah, no, we have no issues at all. We plan to rehab the house across the street anyway, so.
All right. Well, good. It's nice to have you attend and at least say that too. So we
Yep.
appreciate your coming on board. I'll go around the table for the board. Patrick, do you have any questions or issues?
I do not.
Scott, I see you up in here somewhere. Scott?
Yeah, no issues.
Tom? All right, Tom, you're muted, but. All right, so I'm gonna go around.
No, I don't have any issues.
Okay, so Tom, you want a motion? Or Patrick, do you want to state the letter in motion?
I can do it. I'd like to make a motion for 48 Lakeshore Drive to accept the proposed, the variances as stated in the letter.
I second that.
All those in favor say aye. I'll go around the table. Tom,
Aye.
Patrick,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye,
who did I leave out?
Glenn.
Myself.
Oh, Glenn Hathaway, aye. I was thinking, where's John? John's not here. Okay. So Steve, you are good to go.
Okay, that's great. How soon before I can start with the septic?
I will get that permit prepared. It'll get up to Ashburnham on Thursday, and I'll give you a call first thing in the morning to let you know it's ready to pick up.
Great, that'd be perfect. I appreciate that.
All right.
Rick, thank you so much for your help.
No problem. Have a good one.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right. So want to just keep on moving through the septic permits here?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll bring up the two on Wilker Road.
Ron, remind me, you're here for which one?
For 26 Hilltop Drive.
So it's under the appointment.
That's appointment.
Okay, all right. Okay. Go ahead, Rick.
All right. All righty. So I'm just bringing up the plan here for, this is lot 1 on Wilker Road. So this is Rick Sisson's property. I'm not sure if you guys know where that is, but if you go down River 6 Road and it turns into Russell Hill Road, you can stay straight onto Wilker, or you can turn right and Russell Hill Road continues. So his farm property is on the left, and he's cut off a couple of lots from that property. These are the ones that are farthest to the right against the stone wall. So they are looking to just put in conventional pipe and stone trenches. Let me zoom in a little bit closer. Conventional pipe and stone trenches, 1,500 gallon septic tank, and they'll site a well in the back of the property. And these are new construction, so there are no variances. They're in full compliance with your regs and with Title V.
Okay. All right, I'll go around the table. Tom, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Patrick,
No questions.
Scott?
no question.
All right, I don't have any questions either.
So it's new construction, so I'll prepare that permit and sign it.
Yep.
And stop sharing that one. I will bring up lot number 2. So pretty similar layout. This is just the next lot over to the left. Conventional pipe and stone trenches. This is the driveway coming up off of Wilker Road, and that's that common property line between those two lots. So siting the well in the back, 1,500 gallon septic tank that'll gravity feed to 4 or 5 pipe and stone trenches. And again, it's new construction, so no variances. It's in full compliance with your regs and with Title V.
Which lot number was this?
This is lot number 2.
Lot 2.
You done, Rick?
Yep.
Okay, Tom, any questions or concerns?
No.
Patrick
No
Any
concerns.
and Scott?
No concerns.
I have no questions or concerns. You're all set to sign that, Rick?
Yep. So I'll take that one down. Next one's Lot A on Packard Hill Road. All right, and this is a pretty big parcel. It's 13 acres, just over 13 acres. So this is the driveway coming off of Packard Hill Road. It's fairly long to the street. I believe they give a dimension. It's 700 feet plus or minus to the street. So they're siting a well in this location, and then the septic is 1,500 gallon septic tank that'll gravity feed to 2 infiltrator trenches. Again, new construction, so it's in full compliance with your regs with Title V and the infiltrator technology approval.
Okay. Is that it, Rick?
Yep.
All right, I'll go around the table. Scott, you have any questions?
No questions.
Patrick,
No questions.
Tom?
No questions.
All right, Glenn Hathaway, I don't have any questions. Go ahead, Rick.
All right, I'll take that one down. And the next is 80 Fitchburg Road. I believe Trevor from Graz Engineering is on for this one, but new construction. So again, no variances that they're asking for. This is the lot on Route 12. It's across from the old Beltwell's garage, and you might have seen them. They started tree clearing, and I believe they got a foundation only permit from the building inspector. But they're looking to site a 4-bedroom house, a 1,500 gallon septic tank that'll gravity feed to a Presby advanced enviro septic system. They are using poly barrier to help with the breakout along the driveway area here. But it is in, again, full compliance with your regs with Title V and with the technology approval.
Okay. Trevor, you here with any questions? You're just here to listen?
Nope, just here to listen. The contractor wanted to get going as soon as possible, so we wanted to see if you guys had any questions and just streamline it if anything came up. So,
All right, I'll go around the table. Rick, you're done?
Yep.
Tom, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Patrick?
No questions.
Scott?
No questions.
Glenn Hathaway, I don't have any questions either. So you're all set, Rick.
Okay.
thanks.
Thank you.
Next one on the agenda is 245 Willard Road. All right. So this one I just got on Friday, and I looked at it and gave comments back to Valerie. And I just got this PDF a little bit ago. So they are basically looking to put an addition on the house, and believe that the leaching field is adequately sized, but they need a septic tank and sewer line to tie into the existing sewer line that exists. So the one question that I do not have answered yet is what the addition is going to look like, and what the existing house looks like. And I just want to make sure that at the end of the day, everything's adequately sized for what they would like to construct. So the sewer line and the septic tank portion are all set as far as I'm concerned. But before I release the permit, if you guys are okay with it, I do just want to look at their plans to make sure that there are no other septic upgrades they've got to address.
Oh, okay.
So
could
do you want to
that
hold
just-
this one till next month?
If you guys are okay with approving it conditionally, and with the condition that we get those proposed plans for the addition to review before permit release.
Okay, I'm okay to do that. Patrick, you okay to do that?
I'm okay approving it conditionally with you reviewing the plans after Valerie gets them back to you.
Okay, Scott, you okay with that?
Yeah, Rick, do you want us to motion it or are we just gonna give a verbal approval?
If you can motion that with that condition, that would be great.
Sure,
Okay.
make a motion for, was it 20 Willard Road?
245.
245.
245 Willard Road to conditionally approve the septic design after further review by Rick on the building specs.
I second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Scott,
Aye.
Patrick,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Glenn Hathaway, aye. You're all set, Rick.
All right. Next one on here is the add-on, the Blueberry Road lots 385 and 386.
All right.
I'm sorry, would you give me that address again?
Yeah, it's Blueberry Road. And it's
Oh, this is
lots-
the add-on?
Yep.
385 and 386?
Yep, and let me just, I just got this plan, so let me just pull it up one sec.
Ashburnham's expanding this month.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So this one had been previously approved and was without a permit for several years. So they're looking to, they basically updated the plans to today's requirements and are looking to get another 3-year permit. The system is, so it's on Blueberry Road, which is in the Sunset Lake neighborhood. So they do have town water available, which is coming in through the porch to the house. And they're looking to put in a 1,500 gallon septic tank that'll gravity feed to 2 infiltrator trenches. It's new construction, so it is in full compliance with Title V, with the Ashburnham regs and with the technology approval.
But this is for an extension, another 3-year extension.
So not an extension because Title V basically only allows you to issue a 3-year permit and give a one-time 1-year extension. So they've exhausted all
Okay.
the time that they have under the previous permit. And so they're looking for a new 3-year permit, which basically means they're resubmitting for a completely new permit.
Okay. Do you have any issues with this, Rick?
Nope, I don't. I've reviewed
Okay.
it. So
Scott, do you have any issues with this plan?
I do not.
Patrick,
No issues.
Tom, do you have any questions, issues?
No.
Glenn Hathaway, do not have any questions or issues. So Rick, you're all set?
Okay.
You gonna bring up the other one?
that's all the septic plans that I've got. So it looks like if we wanted to move on to the discussion items.
Yeah, we got Ron hanging there. We can, jump to his, yeah, let's jump to the appointments.
Okay.
Is everybody good with that?
Yes.
Okay. So Ron Putman, 26 Hilltop Drive. Ron is here.
Okay, I am the abutter to 26 Hilltop Drive, by the way. I'm at 32 Hilltop Drive.
Patrick, did you get that?
Yeah, 32 Hilltop Drive. Ron, what was your last name again?
Putnam, Putnam.
Very good.
Anybody else here for 26 Hilltop Drive?
I am.
Okay, and who's that?
David Abt, ABBT, 22 Hilltop Drive.
Patrick, did you get that?
David Apt,
Yep. and-
ABBT.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, and he's at 22 Hilltop.
Yes,
Okay. So, Patrick, you got everything?
got it.
Okay. So for 26 Hilltop Drive, who's presenting? Is that Rick? Or you?
I'll kind of go over why I told Ron to come tonight. So this was a property that had received a septic permit on June 9th of 2020 from you guys. It's been a little while, but I tried to remind you what it was. This was a system that was actually put in the ground in 1996, I believe. Yeah, 1996. Or actually, sorry, August 20th, 1999 was when we got the as-built plans in. But they had never constructed a house to attach to the system. So when it's not attached to a permanent structure, we don't issue a certificate of compliance. And so the permit expired, was never attached to a permanent structure. And so they had gone through the exercise of basically proving that the system with some additions would meet today's regulation requirements, except for a couple of variances which they had asked for. One was the offset from the leaching area to a drain. The required offset was 50 feet and requested was 25 feet. And then the tank to the same drain, 25 feet was required and 10 feet was requested. And it was basically the tank and the leach field and the drain were all previously existing. So we had met originally in January, and green cards went out. There was the abutters that had come were Ron and David, and they had come in and brought up a couple of concerns. One was the distance from the well. I believe it was at 32 Hilltop Drive. And then the other was just a general concern about the amount of time the system had been in the ground and not in use. And so at the time, I believe we talked about possibly sending some cameras down the system to make sure that it was still in good shape. We continued the we've attended, and we ended up continuing, we continued to February 2nd. Nobody showed up, and we continued it again to March 2nd. And March 2nd, nobody showed up and voted to continue it to April 6th of 2020, and COVID hit, and we never ended up holding that meeting. So then in June 9th of 2020, we were meeting again via Zoom. There were new green cards sent out, and nobody showed up for that Zoom meeting as an abutter, and the board voted to grant the variances and issue the permit with the condition that easement plan and language be recorded prior to release, which they have since submitted to us. So Ron had called and asked whatever happened to sending the camera down the system, and I really couldn't remember, and the minutes weren't detailed enough to provide information on what ended up happening with that discussion. So I was basically hoping that somebody might remember and you'll be able to figure out what ended up happening with that particular item.
But so the homeowner or the owner of this property is not here?
No.
Okay.
No.
So that sounds faint, sounds somewhat familiar to me as far as sending the camera down. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it wasn't done. Is that something has the owner responded to any of that? You know,
So Ron had brought this up. I think we ended up just speaking last week, and we happened to have the meeting today. So I said, why don't you come onto the meeting? We'll try and see if anybody remembers what happened with that, your discussion, and then we'll kind of go from there. And so that's why we're here tonight, and we can, kind of proceed based on, whatever the board would like to do.
okay, so I guess one of the things would be, I would go around to the other board members, as far as putting the camera down. Again, I remember this somewhat, but we've had this before, so I don't know if I'm remembering another one, but what about doing that? Is that, it sounds like with the hearing that we voted and said, okay, we approved it, that was not on the table.
It wasn't a part of the discussion. So the minutes really just say that when we had originally met, there were those two concerns. We received a plan that located that well at 32 Hilltop Drive, and it was determined that it was well in, I think it was about 160 feet away from the leach field to the well. So that wasn't an issue, but the cammering of the leaching area just never shows up again in the minutes.
Okay, well, let's jump to the leaching piece, because that's 160 feet and up to 32 Hilltop. What do you require? 100, right?
100, yeah.
So that distance is not an issue, but David's here tonight, or who's at 32 Hilltop? David?
I am, no, it's Ronald.
Oh, Ron. So Ron, it sounds like the distance from a leaching field to well meets code.
Okay, well,
Okay.
I just first of all, I'm in Florida, so I'm at a disadvantage. So when I go home on the 19th, I'm going to remeasure it. I don't believe it's like 160 feet from the existing leach field, or it's even less. If you look at that plan and remember the plan, there was an expansion area there.
Okay.
So it's even closer to that area. So my concerns, one, are in the time that it was put in until we met in 2020, there was a lot of growth. There were a lot of pine trees and birch trees on top of this leach field area.
Okay.
And that's why I thought sending a scope down would be a good idea to make sure it works before anything's been put in the field, because it was never activated. So that's really why we're asking what would happen if the leach field did not percolate like it's supposed to. Can they dig that whole thing up in the existing place and put in new material for a new leaching field? Because again, we all depend on wells over there for water. We don't have town water there. So that's why it's so critical
Okay.
that we discuss it.
So I would go, Rick, do the plans not indicate that distance of 160 feet?
They do. So I think I have an electronic version. And now that I've got your email, Ron, I can forward this to you so you can at least take a peek at that.
Right.
But that is what they're showing, is that the
Okay.
well is about 160 feet
So
away.
that's something we can physically confirm, Ron. Okay.
Right.
So we'll do that, but I understand your question. So let's jump to the camera one. I guess we all agree whenever it was over a year ago, yes, that's a good idea. Send a camera down, because what growth has happened. And then whatever, the pandemic hit in last March, and then this got left behind. So Rick, can we go back and ask, even though we approved it at another meeting, to go, can they send the camera down, or is that?
I believe we can.
Okay.
So, they haven't drilled the well. They haven't started the house, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And they added a couple of pieces like risers and metal at the corners, which Title V requires now, inspection ports.
Okay.
So they've added a couple of things to do that, but they haven't finished construction. So I believe we can go back and modify the permit to make that a requirement. I will see if I can just run it by Debbie Phillips to see what we can do, but it would basically be revoking that permit and issuing a new permit with that requirement on it.
Without going to the other board members, I'll go around the second is, wouldn't that be to their advantage also? Basically Ron's asking, and it sounds like we discussed it. We agreed that was a good idea. wouldn't it be a good idea even for the new homeowner anyway, or the owner to make sure there isn't growth in there that disrupts the leaching field, right? So.
Yeah,
isn't this a
I
good
agree.
idea? Okay, so Tom, you agree, Patrick
Yes.
and Scott, you agree we should go back and ask Scott?
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable request.
Yeah, so let's do that. And I know you're gonna go to Debbie first, so if you can do that, and hopefully we can do that, and then Ron, we'll get back to you.
Okay, appreciate it.
Rick, how do we get back to Ron? Will you just call him?
I've got Ron's telephone number and I've got his email. So what I'll do is when we're done here, Ron, I'll email you a copy of the plan so you have that. And
Okay.
then are you guys saying if Debbie gives the okay, then you're otherwise approving that addition? to the
Yes,
project?
I would. I just feel more comfortable if the system is ready to go without any impairment.
And,
Sure.
and Mr. Abbott, I know you're another abutter. Would you like to be included in some of these things or?
Not necessarily. I'm basically backing up Ron on this and confirming his memory of the meeting. It seems like his requests have been dealt with to his satisfaction, so I'm also satisfied.
Great.
All right, and I'm sure Ron will get back to, will share with you afterwards anyway, when he hears, so all good. All right, Ron, we'll keep you posted. Rick, it's Tuesday this week, possibly talk to
So-
Debbie?
Yeah, I just I've got to get permission from Brian. I'll see if I can get an answer on it from somebody else. But if I do have to go to Debbie, I've got to get permission from Brian and then wait for a call back from her. So last time I did it, it took about a week to hear back from her.
Okay, so do we vote or wait for you to hear?
That's really up to you. So, if you wanted to make a motion tonight to modify the permit to require, cammering of the system to confirm that there is no root intrusion or other obstructions in those lines, just kind of pending procedural, comments from Debbie, then, we could certainly do that tonight.
I guess I would recommend it if it's March or April, they want to get going. If they do what we've asked, I think we're okay with that, right? Scott,
Yes.
Tom, Pat?
Yes.
All right. So Scott, you want a motion?
Yeah, I didn't write the road down, but it's 26,
Hilltop.
26 Hilltop Drive.
26, make a motion for 26 Hilltop Drive to approve the revoking of the septic permit until a camera can be put down once approved by council. I think.
I second that.
All those in favor say aye. Scott,
Aye.
Patrick,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Glenn Hathaway, aye.
All right.
So Rick, if you could let me know too, if you call,
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Totally.
All right, so that was 26 Hilltop. Ron is off, I believe.
Okay, yes, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ron.
Thanks,
Okay.
Ron.
Good night.
all right, thank you.
Thank you, David.
Yes, thank you.
348 Ringe Turnpike, water quality issues, is that Ramon?
Ramon.
It is, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Ah,
So as you guys had requested the last time we met with Ramon, he got his water tested recently. Just pulling it up right now. And I can screen share the results if you want to just put them up there. All right, so he tested for total coliform and E. coli. The standard plate count isn't something that we typically test for or see. But I think, Ramon, you had indicated that even that test was improved from the last time that you had looked at it.
That is correct. Yeah, we have no issues with the water whatsoever.
okay. All right, so we had asked you to come back and I guess this is again, based on you were gonna do something at some point when funds were available. So at this point, are you still waiting for funds to?
No, so the well has been fracked. So we have been able to go ahead and start that project again. So the well has been fracked. The problem is that we're not getting much water at all.
Okay,
So now I've got an issue where the well has been dug 500 and some odd feet deep. And it's been fracked and we're only getting about 1.5 gallons per minute. So I know the requirements are 5 gallons per minute. Now we can live with smaller amounts because I believe my old system also puts out around 4 gallons per minute. And my understanding from from Henshaw is that there are plenty of places that they've drilled and only get 2 gallons per minute. So we're just under that or right at the 2 gallons. So we are proceeding, but I want to make sure that if for some reason we are not obtaining water, I want to understand what my options are to continue to use the well that I currently have. Because I'm almost 12,000 into this project and I'm not getting anything.
yeah. Rick, what's,
So it's basically, going back to where we had started with this. So, either finishing that well up, finding another water source, or the board granting a variance to continue to use the existing well.
on a temporary basis or permanent basis?
I believe he's asking for a permanent basis.
Okay. And with the existing well, what are the issues around there? What distances to leaching fields and all that, right? Is that, can you remind me?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't,
26 feet. It's about 26 feet.
That existing well is 26 feet from your new leaching field?
Yes. It was actually shorter than that previously. It was only about 18 feet in the past.
That's the existing well. And the existing well gets the required amount of water.
That is correct.
You agree with that, Rick? So the existing
the
well has
26 feet. I don't have any information on the existing well, so I don't know what it's producing. But I believe, yeah, the 26 feet was the dimension that we had from the previous meetings.
If the board were to grant, permanent use of this well that's 26 feet that's existing, there's nothing really for you, right? If it's existing and they're getting water, we grant a variance. Is there any other issue, any other items that you would be looking at that existing well?
Within the city water.
You're talking to me, Glenn?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
So, we had talked about it before, and the two issues that could potentially come up is one, since the well is less than 50 feet from the leaching area, it creates an issue for being able to pass Title V inspection. So if they had an inspection done, the well ended up testing okay, it would still require an approval from the Board of Health in order to be a pass and report. The other concern that you guys had previously had is just that you weren't really comfortable setting a precedent and granting that variance. So that's kind of the discussions that we had previously.
I've got a quick question about that. We had a variance granted previously. The well's been there since as long as we've been here. So I don't understand what the issue would be to grant a variance at this point. Now, we still plan to continue to go through. I need to know what my fallback position, if one, we run out of water, or two, we're not getting the right production out of the new well. Or we run out of money.
So it's still the same. It's basically either the board could grant a variance to allow you to continue to use that well.
Okay.
You get enough water out of the well you've already constructed, or you move to a new location. I know none of those are really ideal at this point, but those are your options.
Yeah, I would not be able to move to another location. I do not have the funding for that. So that's the location that, based upon what was required, when you were out here, that we all came to consensus that was the right spot that we're going to be putting the well in.
Yeah,
that's a small. Yeah, that's an area where if I move any further, I'm going to be closer to everybody else's septic system.
Yep. So, that location was a location that Mark had specified on his plans. And there was obviously a reason for that because it did meet all those requirements. what I can do, Ramon, is the 5 gallons per minute is maybe something that Henshaw had given you. But the state does have calculations for water quantity. And
Okay.
it's based on the number of bedrooms and the number of bathrooms that you have in the house. And basically how you do your calculations is you go to a chart. One side says number of bedrooms and number of baths. And on the chart, you find the number of gallons per minute that you need to get. And what the state looks at is peak flows. So typically a lot of people use water first thing in the morning and then at the nighttime. So they want to make sure that the well can provide enough water to run all of your fixtures for at least a 1 hour period. And it takes into account what the well can produce. So at this point, 1.5 gallons a minute. And it also takes into account what you can store for water. So the distance between your static water level and where your pump is set. So I can send that to you. You can try to do the calculation on your own based on the preliminary numbers that Henshaw's given you. I'd be happy to help. 1.5 gallons is pretty low, but I believe you guys have a 2-bedroom house.
Yes, we have a 2-bedroom.
And how many baths in the house?
1. We'd
Okay.
like to
So-
build a second one if at all possible in the future. So that's why I want to get this resolved.
Sure. So I can send that along to you. It's right out of the state's model well regulations. It's their
Okay.
water quantity calculations. And you can kind of figure out, just because you did go so deep, it helps out because you have a lot of storage volume that you could use to meet those peak demands. And then, as long as it's got a decent recovery rate. So the requirement is that it recovers back to the static level, which is the level that the water would sit at if you weren't using the well. It'll recover 85% over a 24-hour period.
Okay. All right.
I mean, is that well that you just fracked, is it recovering? Is it coming up?
Well, I have to connect it,
85%?
according to Henshaw, it is, we have to get it tested again. And we're waiting for the test results for the water quality from Henshaw.
Okay,
But right now, he says it's right around 2 gallons per minute that that it's producing. He also did say that there is a good amount of water in the well because we did dig so deep. So that is a plus, but I'm just concerned about future water utilization. I don't have specific peak hours because I work from home 100% of the time.
yeah.
So I can't go by that because there's myself and my wife. I work from home for 10 years now. So and my daughter's schooling at home, so there's a lot more usage than normally has been.
Okay,
So that's my concern there that I wanted to bring to the board.
so where are you with your present well? What are they? They're going out to test what they fracked, and did the gallons per minute improve at all?
When they fracked it, yes, it
Okay.
improved. No, it did not actually, because we're still not getting the amount of water that we were hoping to get. So they fracked it, and we're still. I mean, we're getting water, but it's not at anywhere near the levels that we should be.
All right. Okay. Okay. So moving forward, it doesn't sound like it's going to improve. You've already fracked. You didn't have enough, so you fracked. At this point, it hasn't improved. So, I mean, anybody who lived there 26 feet from your septic field, that's not, I don't think anybody's comfortable with that.
No.
So, Rick, what happens at this point?
It's basically the same. Either you grant a variance for the existing well, or they find a water supply that meets the requirements. It's one of the other. I mean, it's right back where we were when we were talking to Debbie.
So we were hoping refracking that we get it and we would be done, but we're not. The refrac has happened, and over time, other than we've had some rain, it's probably most likely that he is where he's going to be, right? As far as gallons permitted, recovery and everything else, right?
Yeah. I haven't seen any, well completion report or anything from Henshaw. So really it's just, what Ramon's relayed to us at this point, and, it sounds like that's the case.
Yeah.
So at the moment, just to give you all an update, it has been fracked. He has taken water samples. He has told us the flow rate. We do not have results for the water samples. We have not connected it to the house yet until we get those water samples, which then I would have to have, the excavator come back out. Luke would have to come back out and dig the trench so we can connect it. So we're not there yet, but the well has been fracked, and we're just waiting the results right now. Again, I'm just thinking long-term, if we have any issues with this well, where we're not getting the water, what my options are. Because we are thinking about putting our house in the market once this project is done. And I do not want to have any issues in the future.
Right. Yeah. I guess we were hoping the fracking would work, and it has not. I don't, the fact that you're going to put it on the market, that obviously could be an issue because of what's happening now. I'll go around. Patrick, do you have any comments on this?
I mean, we can see that Ramon's doing what he can do as best as he can do with the finances and everything being as they are. Stuck between a rock and a hard place right now, it seems.
Yeah. Tom, do you have any comments?
If you don't have the required water that the state asked for, what are the consequences of that?
Rick?
You're asking me, Tom. So basically, you run the potential of you're not having enough water to meet your demands, and you run the well dry.
And so what happens? You have to leave the house, or?
I mean, that's why, having the well completion report would help out a lot, because it would give us, what they drew the well down to over a 4-hour pump test and what it recovered to, and in what period of time, depth that they set the pump at, what the well is producing, an accurate number, and how they got that number. Was it a flow test, or was it with their drill stem? At what point did they calculate that? So having that information would be helpful, because then we could actually run the calcs based on the state's model regulations and see how they look compared to what the state's regs would like to see as far as water quantity. And then have all that, actual real data in front of us to make a decision based on. But if you run out of water and it's a low producing well, you can only assume that it's going to take a long time to recover to what you would need to be able to use it again. And you've got issues if you don't have water in the house.
So not having the gallons per minute might not be an issue, as much of an issue if the recovery is quick.
Correct, because it is so deep. So if we knew, that it's a 500-foot well, that the static water level is at 20 feet, and they set the pump at 400 feet, then they've got quite a bit of storage within the well that they could draw down on to compensate for the low yield that it's actually producing. But then you need to make sure that it's recovering okay. And like Ramon said, the calculations are based on peak flows. So really they're looking at it as if you were using every plumbing fixture in the house for a 1-hour period. Would you be able to meet that demand with what the well's producing?
All right, so that tells me we really don't have all the information in front of us. It'd be nice to have that.
If we got that, the water quality at this point isn't as important as the water,
recovery.
the well completion report, which will
Yeah.
give all the information as far as where they set the pump, what the static level is, what the well is producing. And I'm assuming it's a 6-inch diameter well. So, we could run all the calculations to determine what the storage within the well is,
Yep.
with that information, what it's producing, and what it's capable of providing to the house over that one period peak flow time.
Okay. So how soon did they say they're going to get the information back to you, Ramon?
We have to catch up with him. We just got it done at the end of last week. So I know that he took water samples to get it tested. I have no idea when we're gonna get the results.
All right, do we extend this, to beginning of May? That's 4 weeks.
You guys had already pushed it, I believe, to August.
Oh, okay, all right.
I think is what it was. So,
Yeah,
at this point, if I'll forward the information as far as May 3rd is what you had said for water results. So he's a little bit early as far as that goes, and August to bring everything into compliance. So what I'll do is I'll send Ramon the that section from the state's model regulations so that he can give it to Isaac or whoever he's working with at Henshaw, or if Henshaw can provide me with the well completion report, then I'd be happy to run the calcs and provide those numbers to Ramon and to Isaac from Henshaw to look at, and then we could review it whenever they're ready to come back in front of the board. And either the Colazos are happy with what the well is able to do, based on those numbers, or they're not, and the board will have to make a decision at that point.
okay. Ramon, you good with that?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so we could, we might have it by next meeting or the meeting afterwards then, either May or June, right?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, because it's dependent upon him hearing from the well drilling company
Right.
also.
Right. Okay. And no notice is needed for, this is really it's an appointment. So if it's week 4, just before our next meeting, if he had information, he could hop on our meeting.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, it was an informal decision that the board had made, basically not to enforce any compliance on the property, and that you were going to give them the time that they felt they needed in order to make their decisions and do that. So the last time we had met, you guys had given them until August to do that, and if we can finish it earlier, then great. If there are issues that you've got to deal with, then we'll bring Ramon back in front of you guys to make those decisions.
Okay. All right. Patrick, did you get all that? I mean, it's really a discussion. It looks like we really need the results.
Was I supposed to write anything down?
Nah. We're waiting for the results of the well
Right.
contractor. Okay, that's what I would put down.
Yeah, so we are, we're just checking our email. We just got an email from Henshaw with
Okay.
results on the testing.
Okay.
So he is going to be sending the results. So what I'll do is I'll forward all the results to you, Rick.
Okay.
So I should hopefully have them by tonight.
That'd be great.
So you
Okay.
can take a look.
All right. Okay. Obviously, we all wish the fracking had gone better. Okay. So.
Yep.
So.
Pulling for you, Ramon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're all hoping. So. Okay.
Let's hope it can still work out.
Yeah. So, all right. We'll see what the numbers look like, and Rick will get back to us. And it sounds as if we've got those numbers. We'll be seeing you in beginning of May. Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Ramon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. So that was 348 Ringe Turnpike. Rick, you good? Only because of this. You good with what we're going to state in our meeting minutes? Really, we're just waiting for the results.
Yeah, I think you don't have to put all the details that we just talked about. We'll figure that out once we have more definitive numbers in front of us.
Okay. All right.
I've got hand cramps from everything I wrote down here.
Yeah. You are more than welcome to submit that and have that in there. Now, Rick is just making me a little gun shy now. I mean, we just had this meeting and it says that we didn't put the camera thing in.
No
we
shit.
put it on it. And so someone's going to pay for
Yeah.
that. So I don't know.
My name's at the bottom of that.
Yeah,
That minute.
It couldn't have been you, Pat. So
Oh.
it wasn't me. So it's the other two guys.
I'm famous for saying, see attached letter.
Yeah, yeah, I like
I
that.
just checked my notes. I know it wasn't me.
Okay, we're okay. Tom didn't speak up, so he's it. And John's not here. If you don't show
It's
up for the
John.
meeting, we can just blame John.
John did
That's
it.
it.
All
John did
right.
it.
Yeah, that's
So,
the 1 minute he took.
yeah, this is a tough situation. So, hopefully, if the recovery's there, it might help us all. Might be
Yes. Let's hope for the best.
the glass will be half full. Okay. All right. So I'm going on to no other appointments, right, Rick?
Nope, no other appointments, so it's just the COVID update.
All right. So we're going to back up COVID update and go ahead.
All right, so just to go over the case numbers real quick. So the last reporting was on April 1st. There'll be another one that comes out on Thursday. But again, these are the numbers that are cases over the previous 14-day period. So on April 1st, there was 15 cases reported, which put you in the green designation that the state has. On the March 25th, there were 16, which was in the yellow. On March 18th, there were 9, which was gray. And on March 11th, there were 7, which was also gray. So there, we're seeing a similar trend throughout the district, that numbers jumped up just a little bit in the past couple of weeks. The only thing that kind of the state points to as far as increasing numbers is that there are those variants that are out there now. And originally they had been kind of looking for them to see whether they existed in the state. At this point, they've said that they're just prevalent enough that they're an issue. I don't know how much you guys have heard about it, but basically they do seem to be much more contagious. And I think that's basically what the state's pointing to as far as the increasing numbers, that we do have those variants here. And that they do seem to be more contagious, and they're causing an uptick in case numbers. Some of the data that the state has started to release is regarding vaccinations. So I pulled up the numbers for Ashburnham, and again, this was reported on April 1st, and it looks like as far as Ashburnham's population, there was 16% of the population that was fully vaccinated, and there was 30% of the population that had received at least 1 dose. So it's the numbers are a little bit low compared to other towns. I know the issue is still that the vaccine just isn't as available as everybody would like, and most of it is going through Gillette Stadium, Springfield, and through the Heinz Convention Center now, and it's just it's not convenient for Ashburnham.
So is that 46%? You said 16% fully vaccinated?
16% fully vaccinated, and 30% that have received at least 1 dose. And as far as I could tell, the 16% that are fully vaccinated would also be included in the 30% that have received 1 dose.
So we're only 30% of our population. So what are the other towns?
A lot of them were in the 40% range. And again, a lot of the people that I've talked to in Ashburnham that have been vaccinated have gone to the Polish American Club in Gardner. And I know that they had an issue as far as vaccine allotments, and they didn't receive the number that they thought they were, at least for a couple of weeks in a row. So I'm not sure where that's at, but we've all seen the map. There just really aren't any vaccine sites that are really in close proximity to Ashburnham besides the couple in Gardner. And so I don't know if that's part of the issue. If some people just don't want to get vaccinated, I really can't tell you because nobody's really talked to me about it. But the number of vaccinated people is a little bit lower than some of the other towns that I looked at.
And again, it's not mandated to get it. You do, right?
It's not. Nope. And from what I understand, there is not going to be any mandate to do that. We know that things can change, but that's at least what they've told us at this point, is that there would be no mandates to receive the vaccine.
Okay, so I heard the same thing everybody else. Yeah, the variants are coming in, and it would be nice if everybody had the first shot from at least 1 shot from the COVID, because it's supposedly it's good against the variants too. Is that true or false?
So there's quite a few variants at this point, and I think a lot of studies are still being done to determine the vaccine's efficacy rate against the variants. I think that at least the ones that have been kind of more known at this point, so the one that was found in the UK and the one that was found in South Africa, I believe it was, the vaccine does seem to have some similar efficacy rate to the original form of COVID-19, but they're still trying to make that determination as far as how effective it is. And I think that's why you see the state kind of cautiously moving forward as far as allowing vaccinated people to do a little bit more, but still saying that they should be cautious if they're going out into the public. So there are some things that they can do in private residences and other private settings that they wouldn't have been able to do had they not been vaccinated. But I think they're still pretty cautious because of the just the unknowns.
Any concerns? We just had Easter, which is a big holiday. So is there a concern 2 weeks from now we might see another surge?
I guess we'll find out. When we went through Christmas and we went through New Year's, we definitely saw a significant increase in the cases. So I guess time will tell, and we'll find out what people were up to.
Okay, so the next two big holidays, May 31st, Memorial Day weekend, July 4th, and Labor Day. So, unfortunately, May 31st, July 4th, nice weather, everybody's going to be going out, but that might help. If people are out, they can self-distance versus the winter holiday. So, all right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go around the table. Scott, you have kids in school. Do you have any questions, as far as schools and what's going on there for COVID?
I do not. I think they're doing a good job communicating.
Okay.
And
Patrick.
so just,
yeah, go ahead.
well, you brought that up, Glenn. So last week, the state did release through DESE, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, their guidance documents for prom and graduation. So they've basically laid out the state requirements as far as those two events go. Do you guys have any desire to do anything differently than the state's requiring, or do you want to have input as far as those events at the high school?
I mean, I would look right to you as far as whether that's a good idea.
I haven't. The prom one just got released, so I really haven't had an opportunity to look the whole thing over. The graduation one is pretty similar to what you guys had approved last year. It's basically a graduate and up to either 5 or 6 guests that need to be socially distanced, mask wearing. If they are going to do the traditional walk up up onto the stage to get their diploma, it's got to be placed on a table for them to take it off of that would be disinfected in between each person. So I think the graduation one is pretty good, and it's similar to what you guys were comfortable with last year when there were quite a few more cases in town. The prom one, like I said, I just haven't looked over enough to really give you any information on it. That's kind of the one that would scare me a little bit more, just because if you're talking prom, you're talking dancing, and the opportunity for close contact, which is what we're trying to avoid at this point. I know the state's really pushed these schools to push prom off until the summer months. Basically the answer that they gave us when somebody asked what their thought process was behind that is that most of these kids are either 18 or 19 years old. They could receive the vaccine, and by that point they should have at least had availability to go and get it. And by doing that, you'd have more vaccinated people attending it as opposed to not.
What is the date of that? Today's April 6th. What do you know the date?
I don't know. Prom's typically in May. I've only talked to one high school. It was the North Middlesex, which is Townsend, Ashby, Pepperell, and their plans were to push it off into June, but not have it after graduation. And basically what the superintendent told me about that was that, their thoughts were if they held it in the summer after the kids had graduated, they would kind of lose control of it because the kids don't really have to answer to them at that point.
Right,
So his thought was, if we hold it before graduation, we can at least
Some
control the kids in some way. So that's what their plans were, but we really haven't heard anything from the superintendent at Ashburnham, Westminster for quite a while now.
And they're not looking for our guidance on that anyway, right?
Not right now.
Can anybody hear me?
Hi,
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you, John.
How you doing, John?
Good, I just remember the meeting.
And we can see half your face.
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Yes.
So, the recommendation was that the school committee or the school work with the local board of health to approve a plan for it. But yeah, it's really up to you guys how involved you'd like to be in that process. And I could, I've got no problems reaching out to the school to see what their plans are as far as that goes. And, forwarding that on to you so that you can make a decision based on what Ashburnham Westminster plans to do.
Yeah, they didn't ask us last year, right?
No.
They weren't looking
didn't
for
do it
anything
last
from
year.
us. I doubt it would.
Yeah, they talked to us about the graduation, but not prom. Yeah, because like I said, Scott said, I don't think it happened.
Okay. Does anybody have any comments about that? Rick just spoke. Patrick, do you have any questions?
Oh, my God. I just feel for all the kids, what they've gone through for the past year and a half. I can't imagine what your two kids are going through, Scott.
Yeah.
I have a senior that wants to go to prom, so.
Yeah, let's hope it works out.
They ought to let them go to prom and graduation.
I agree, John.
Well, that's why I was questioning, the prom, if it's in May, is it warm enough to do a tent or try to keep it outside? Again, easy to self-distance, fresh air, so.
Yeah, so at least, from what I've heard of, that's what most of the schools are talking about for a couple of reasons. One, it's pretty proven at this point that being outside is safer. And, two, you can have a larger capacity outside.
Yeah.
So more people.
Yep. Okay. Tom, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay. Again, about COVID. John, do you have any questions? Is what you just told us, John? You think they should have it outside?
Well, I'd like to make a suggestion, as long as they're going to remain in Zoom. I'd like somebody to phone me around 6 o'clock to remind me.
6 o'clock, what?
A reminder to John.
Call me to remind me that I got a Zoom meeting. When am I
Patrick?
going to meet in person?
Okay. Patrick will put that in the meeting minutes. We do remind ourselves to start the recording and we do remind ourselves to end the recording. So
I'll
John,
put that
to
right
add-
next to the blah, blah, blah.
You didn't, Chairman, you didn't answer my question. When are we going to start meeting in person?
When hell freezes over.
All right, so that's COVID. No one has
How
any
about
questions.
me?
Any what?
He wants
Why
to know
don't
when we
we
can
have
start
it-
meeting in person.
Oh,
Does that iPhone not have a speaker on it or what, John?
I have no idea what it has.
You're like a progressive commercial.
I'm gonna get John headphones. I have my hearing aids in. Tom's got headphones. I mean, we've all got devices to help. We might want to chip in for John. I'm all
I
over
think
that.
we ought to come out of the closet and have an open meeting in May.
My days. I don't know. Well, you can call in from I don't know if you're home, John. You can call in from anywhere and log in from anywhere. So.
No, I think it's about time we went back to an in-person meeting.
I don't know if I'm comfortable seeing these guys face to face, but.
I'm comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that.
Why
So,
didn't you put it to a vote?
I will. That's a good question. Rick, are you meeting face to face with any other boards?
So in Townsend, I'm meeting with the board, but we're still having the public be involved remotely.
Okay, all right. So is anybody interested I'll go around the table. Anybody interested in meeting face to face again, or and physically, not to discontinue the Zoom? And actually, let me back up. Let me give the option, does anybody want to get together, and then Zoom could still be an option. So
Yeah, so I think, the couple of things just to keep in mind as far as that goes is there are still governor's orders that have capacity limits on the meetings.
Oh,
So it would be whatever the indoor gathering number is, which we typically don't exceed for our meetings. But if we did have, a hot button topic or something, then it could create an issue. So if you guys wanted to meet at the town hall, I think that would be, kind of a good starting place, but we would have to just figure out, how can we still have our meeting on Zoom so that we could involve the public and kind of at least start there.
okay. So that's the six of us.
We
So
have a month, guys.
Yeah, we don't exceed, right? We're six people.
No, yeah, we would be okay. So it's we'd have to find a bigger room. So we'd probably have to go upstairs somewhere. It's 10 people per 1,000 square feet. So we would need at least like a 500 square foot room.
Okay,
Wow.
so I'll go around the table and ask I'll take a vote. Scott, are you interested in meeting together? Not the public right now, just.
Yeah, I'm comfortable in person.
Okay. Patrick?
I'm comfortable in person.
Tom?
Yeah, it would be, I'm comfortable, but logistically, it might prove to be weird and a nightmare to have the outside guests in Zoom while we're sitting. We'd have to have our computers as well as our, not a big deal.
Yeah,
But
so
Tom, you could handle that.
I can talk to Mary to see,
You
first, I guess,
can mute John if you want to.
Yeah, yeah. So Tom, that's actually a good point, Tom Flanagan, that the technology wise, right now, we all can call in or do what we're doing right now. If we're together, Mary's gonna have to get one big monitor that captures the whole room, yada, yada, yada. So that might cause some difficulties. So Rick, could you ask Mary?
Yeah, I'll talk to her because I guess there's two things. One, the Board of Selectmen have control of that building. So are they okay with people starting to meet in person, at least in that capacity? And two, do we have the technology or technological capabilities of being able to Zoom in a room and involve the public? So I'll talk to Mary about that.
Yeah, when I think of the town hall, it's hard for me to think of a room that's 500 square feet. I know we've renovated. It would probably be the auditorium above, which I know there's some offices in there. So,
yeah.
Okay, so John, to your question, everybody's comfortable in meeting together, but we're not sure. We got to find out the physical building that we can meet in, and the technology will work for us. So we'll figure it out, and we should be able to figure that out in the next week and say yes or no for our next meeting, right?
Yep, I think so.
All right, John, you good with that?
I got another question for you. Has Scott and Rick been vaccinated?
Yes.
I get my first shot tomorrow. I just
Okay.
became
That's
eligible.
All right. Okay.
So the rest of the board have been vaccinated, so we're not a risk to each other.
Okay.
I thought you were going to ask about the swim spot downtown.
The swimming pool?
So are
We're
you
going to
getting
have to wait until to talk about the swimming pool until the next meeting.
Okay, got it.
The one behind your house. Scott.
So Scott, you're getting a two
And
shot, you
Patrick.
get single shot or two?
Two.
Oh, okay. So tomorrow, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later. Okay. So even for our next meeting, you may not have your second by then, right? So,
Yeah,
He will.
It'll be fun.
all right. Okay. All right. Well, it looks like it could work, from that standpoint. And Rick, are you scheduled? You said, I apologize. Are you ready? Are you going to get yours, Rick?
I have it.
You
I'm
did
done.
get it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good, sorry. All right, I don't have anything else to discuss. Anything else to add to the meeting for tonight, Rick?
Not me. Nope.
Okay, do we have to talk about the meeting date for May? The 3rd is a Monday.
Yeah, because I don't get the email. I happen to see Rick's. I'm like, oh goodness.
So it's, because I think I'll make a note, because it comes from Heather and she sends it out. So it just said Board of Health. It doesn't have your individual email addresses. So
Yeah.
she must have an old one, but that Scott Sile is the one that you use, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so May 4th is a Tuesday, so it's not any holiday. Any issues with that date, Rick, for you, holiday wise, or there's nothing around?
Nope.
there? Okay, so it shouldn't be an issue, so that should be our next date. So I don't know if any, I'm gonna go around the table, see if there's any other new business. John, any other new business?
No, that's, thank you.
All right, thanks for your comments, though.
Thanks, John.
Okay,
Scott.
anytime, Patrick.
Scott, do you have any other comments? Do you have any new business?
I do not.
All right, Patrick?
I do, but I'm going to keep them all for the next meeting.
I'm good with that. Tom Flanagan, you said you have any questions?
I would like to have put in the meeting minutes that we have a reminder at the beginning of every meeting to tell Glenn not to say this is going to be a short meeting.
I agree.
There's a new rule.
Well,
7:20 right
From my
now. Glenn.
perspective, it was a short meeting.
There was one hearing. There was just one.
I know. Well, look, I missed the first couple minutes and it kept going and going. I'm like, that's not the agenda I'm looking at.
And then, it was the appointments, Tom. Those 2 appointments. When was the last time we had 2 appointments? Okay. So that did not help in all fairness. So I promise I will not say that. Okay.
Yeah.
No
Because
one on
every
the board-
time he does, that's it.
All right. I don't have any other comments, and we're going to close the meeting at 7:22.
7:20. It's been closed for 2 minutes.
Oh, we're closed. Thank you, everybody. Everybody stay well, and we'll see you
Stay
tomorrow.
safe, everyone.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Glenn, you
Rick,
got to
thank you as always.
Okay.
No problem. You
Stop
just have
the meeting,
to
Glenn.
stop the recording. too.
Good night,
I'm
guys.
going in right now. Stop.
Night, John. Night, everyone.
Good night.